Always goofing off camera before we get on here. It's so hard to try and compose ourselves. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Galactic Explorers with the lovely Dallas and, as always, my crazy self, Daniella. Welcome to the podcast with your favorite neighborhood friendly channelers, where we take you on that joyride through the earthly, spiritual, or everyday topic explored with a galactic perspective. Today is the day after Valentine's Day. But, you know, as to not necessarily be basic, typical, if you will, we thought we'd take the opportunity to talk about something a little bit, maybe a different side of what V Day could mean for you.
Yeah.
Taking the time to reflect and assess where you are with yourself on maybe some of these things that we might talk with you about today.
Yeah. Loving yourself.
I was gonna say, Dallas, you wanna let the people in on what the big secret is?
Love yourself.
As always, right? Ta-da!
Yay!
Right? Talking about not being basic and not being regular.
Yeah. So,
Got you guys.
yeah.
But really, what it was, love is more than.
Right. I think you said it pretty good. We were talking before.
Of course.
Of love is more than a Valentine's card and a box of chocolates or a day at the spa. Even though those things are very important to take care of yourself and to receive love and to give love. But it's also to take care of your soul and your mind and body, I think, as a whole.
I agree.
And
absolutely.
You want to find the passion, I think, that lies within you.
I think, and take action on it. That's what we were talking about. Really,
and take
it's the
action.
form of self-love, like the ultimate form of soul love. That's where we were going with it.
Yes.
That's where we were talking about going with it. Sometimes we talk about these ahead of time when we have this topic like this, because it came up that Dallas and I realized we were both going through a very similar type of reflective experience. And in the sense that not the circumstances were at all the same, because they weren't, but the idea that it was trying to reflect back to us, to pay attention to, was almost crystal duplicate.
Right. Identical.
Yeah, it was almost identical.
Right.
And that had to do with honoring yourself on a soul level. Another level, another onion layer of that, honoring yourself on a soul level. But for us in this moment, had to do more with really kicking our own selves in the butt, staying hard in the sense, and taking action on the stuff that brings us joy, that brings us excitement, and not expecting that outcome, not attaching anything to it, but just to enjoy it for what it is. Because it gives that feeling, because we feel so energized when we do it, because when we enjoy ourselves so much when we do it, that thing that you're joyous and passionate and excited about, that's been a real reflection for us as to where we haven't been taking as good of care of ourselves previous as late, where there was that time, what was that, early January, like, right, of course it's the end of the year, last year, still rubbing off on everybody. And it was just showing us, we were talking about how it was showing us that. And we wanted to talk about that with you guys, and how maybe, I don't want to hear, because we haven't quite talked about this yet, how you've been able to work yourself out of that hole that you guys were in, because your circumstance was different from our circumstance. And we don't necessarily have to go into the details of what said circumstance was, because the idea is universal in its application, and how it shows up is just different.
Right.
The idea is the same. So when you're tackling that idea of taking action on the things that bring you joy as that ultimate form of self-love, soul love, love is more than being a day at the spa, having your glass of wine all the time, but having the glass of wine to the point where you're self-medicating, is that self-love? Like, how do you take those steps to do that, to bring yourself back into it, to honor yourself again? What do you do? What did you do?
I had to sit with pain, literally. I had to sit with it. I had to know that I was giving it to my own self. I had to see the reflection of everybody else, of what they were going through as well. And of course, I think this past year, 2020, everybody had to sit with it. And
Yeah.
I came to a point of a self-reflection of, everything's fine. It's great. It's great. We're
Right.
gonna get,
Well, we were ignoring it and not taking action on it.
right.
Not
And it
taking
was
action on our boundaries.
right. Yes. Boundaries,
That
just
was a big
seeing
one.
and going, I have allowed my boundaries to be broken,
Either by
or
not saying something, or by not taking a particular action and either following through ourselves, or
yeah.
or asking somebody else to help us follow through, not just us, but asking for somebody else's help with it,
Right.
so that we would be able to have headspace for ourselves. Asking for help, that was a big one too. That was all wrapped up in it as part of the self-love too.
Yeah. And I think for us too, it was a reflection of where we were in our own little journeys, and the practices and work that we are doing, and how we hold space for each other in that. Because, we're two different people, two different lives, total different, but it's, how do you find the common ground? How do you go, okay, I'm all, and like see it on the other side. It's
Right.
and it, like you said, and it's something that you just have to do. You have to just go, I'm just gonna get up at 7:00 in the morning. And you have to
Try that.
hold
Just try
yourself
it. Yeah.
accountable and get yourself at 7:00 in the morning. And you have to go a baby step. And it's literally just one step. I have to do this step. And then that's it. And you sit and you do your step, you applaud, okay, good job. I did it. Now I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and then you wake up at 7:00 tomorrow morning, and then the next day and the next day. It's and it sounds like that, it sounds so simple, but then
Right.
we feed
But
ourselves
yeah.
a lie of, well, I'm not good enough, or I can't do it, or I've, whatever the excuse is.
Yep.
It's an excuse that we hold ourselves back on, and you just have to go, it's shit or get off the pot.
Yep.
It really is
so uncomfortable that, yep, it was shit or get off the pot time, right?
It is what it is, and it's, you have to put yourself 100% in to what you want. If you want to change a job, okay, are you 100% in your job you're in now? And if not, then okay, you put your 2 weeks notice in, and then go find the job you want.
Or at least start looking for other jobs on the down low.
Take the action of doing that. Take the action of, do I want to go to school, or do I want this kind of job? Like, I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. And I know I get stuck of, there's so many options and so much that I put all the filters out, and I go, whoa, I am so many places where I'm going to start over, and I'm going to do one step.
Yep.
One.
It's a really important point to make, is that one step. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to change your eating habits, you can't change it all at once.
No.
You can't.
Pick one thing about a boundary. Pick one thing.
Right. Just one.
One
Like
thing.
literally one thing. A drink. Okay, stop drinking soda. Then just stay with that one thing. Just soda. I'm not going to drink this soda. Okay, good. So what are you going to do when that
Instead.
urge comes? You know,
Yeah.
like, are you going to have a tea instead, or a
Right.
lemon water, or you're going to go
Like
for a walk?
I think understanding that and figuring out what those things can be is a form of self-care and self-love that doesn't,
Yes.
we were talking about, doesn't get talked about, because that is doing the work right there, making those different choices, figuring out what you're going to do, but doing it one thing at a time so it doesn't get overwhelming. But that is doing the work, and doing the work is that love for yourself that allows you to be loving and giving to others if that's what you want to do, how you want to serve, how you want to care. It allows you to actually do that stuff instead of running on an empty tank and everybody being working out of trauma responses because we're all super depleted.
Mm-hmm. And
I think you were right, bringing it back to that one thing, because we get so overwhelmed with this whole bigger picture of self-care, right? The one thing.
Because when you do that one thing, it will incline you to do more because you did the one step. And it might have been the hardest step, or it might have been the easiest step. Whatever it is, it's one step that you make. And when you're comfortable enough to add another step, or you have the idea because you're listening to yourself and you're listening to your body.
I totally have a fortune cookie slip that says, take the first step, for it is the hardest, the rest is easy.
Yeah.
I was like, so funny. It made me think about it. It's like I have that taped to like a lamp or something somewhere, you know, like the stand of a base of a lamp. Like,
right.
It's true. I mean, it's a fortune cookie for, you know, like for your thoughts, but that's so true.
It's a message and I'll take it.
Right?
Because that's what I need.
Oh yeah. Confirmation.
There you go. Right. So it's definitely, that's where I had to go. One step. I did my one step. I gave my permission to have this and to follow it this way. And this is how I was going to take care of myself. And I had to be good with it and not beat myself up and go, oh, I could be doing more. Of course. But if I'm doing that more, I'm overwhelming myself again. And it's learning, I think, too, when you give yourself love and you got to learn to slow down.
I was going to say, talk about the self boundaries, because like people always think about boundaries towards other people, right? The wall that they want to put up towards other people or situations or whatever. But there are boundaries that you might need to have within yourself, for yourself, talking about how much you try and take on, thinking that that's validating you in some sort of way, when really it's burning you out. And having an ability to love yourself enough to ask for help, to spread out the load, to not take on so much. So that's been a big thing for you.
Right. It's communicating that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
You have to communicate it. You have to say it out loud and to the person sometimes. Like it was just one example was with the children. Mom, give me this. Mom, I need. I'm like, okay, you guys are old enough now. I was just to a point. There was one night, and I wasn't mean about it, but I was just like,
you were done.
No. You guys, I literally was like, you are pulling more than you need to from me. I'm not going to allow you guys to do that anymore. And it came out of literally fucking nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and then it was like, and then it came with all the little downloads of
keep your pan strong, girl.
like, and then it was like, they were like, and I was like, yeah, you can get up and go get your own glass of water. It's 5 feet away. Or you could go do this. Or if I asked you for something, you need to respond. You know, it's just, saying it, or if it's hearing, like if you hear a relative talk about
Mm.
something that just puts you in that lower state, and you're just like,
Oh, there you go. That's one. That's a big one.
go, you know what? I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Can we talk about something else, or we're not going to talk at all? Or we just don't talk. Whatever I mean, there's could be so many,
That's
such
like so,
attached to
it's
your.
interesting how poignant that is, right? At the time. And it's because people are going to try and like pull you off course and tell you
Mhm.
that making those kinds of boundaries for yourself is rude or like
Selfish.
inconsiderate, selfish. Yeah. And you
Well,
still
that's just
have
who
to
I
like
am.
stand despite that and be, that's where it's like taking the action to be true to yourself. It's like if that's how you feel and you don't want that energy loop to continue with that story or whatever that topic is, right? It's like
Right?
you have the full right as a human adult being to say, hey, cool, can we change the subject though? Because I mean, we've been at this for a minute.
Right.
You I mean, and if they want to project onto you, then that's their thing. But I know a lot of people that's like they've tried to, they've done that first, like that oh so important first step of saying something, and then they just get battered down by that other person coming back around and wheeling it back around onto them, that then they fold, and then they feel even worse about themselves and beat themselves up even more for allowing themselves to fold.
Right.
And then it goes in a whole nother circle, and then they never have expressed their boundaries. Their boundary not only has been not honored but then reviolated, because then that person basically just like re-prison banged you and be like, nope, you're still my bitch. Not only can you not say no, but just by the way, you're still my bitch, just in case you forgot. That's
Yeah.
energetically kind of what's happening. So you
Right.
just have to be like, no, it's okay. I can be my own biggest man in the yard. Okay, thanks.
Right. And you can do that with your family.
Yeah, and you can walk away. And I don't mean just like walk away from your family, never speak to them. It's like if you need to leave the room and go do something else, read a magazine, find a book, change, find another TV in the house, because generally there's more than one, and put something else on, like it's, yeah. So I want to just bring that up, I guess, to encourage people to take that to the next step. Like, so you did a first action. Awesome. Stay true to it. Stay true to that action. Stay true by following through with the next action if somebody tries to push back at it. Because they're not going to be used to you asserting yourself or not asserting yourself. They're not going to be used to whatever differently you're doing with that one thing, potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to stay true to you. I have really found was the big message for me during that. I know it was for you too, but mine was like, that was the resounding, like, you said that you wanted to set these kind of boundaries with these people. And you know who I'm talking about. Why aren't you following through and staying true with yourself instead of letting yourself be sucked back into those storylines, letting yourself be emotionally and energetically sucked back into their shit just because you want to be courteous, or just because you want to be respectful, or just because you want to be, right,
Right.
considerate, understanding. It's interesting how a double-edged knife that can be when it comes to being real with yourself and where you want your energy to be and what other people are trying to get you to be with them.
That's part of the healing and the self-love and my caring of my soul,
Mm-hmm.
of realizing how complex we all are. Life is complex. It's fucking complex. Our
Endlessly.
soul is so complex. And we teeter We suck
We
on the
titter
tit
about.
much, all right?
There's tits involved, guys. Don't worry. Tit jokes are coming.
They always are. They're in charge.
The ladies
Anyway.
will always be in charge. Don't forget that. It's Valentine's Day. The ladies will always be in charge. Sorry.
Squirrel. No. We think there's always good or bad, right or wrong.
Mhm.
And that's how we judge. We keep ourselves in check.
Mhm.
This is wrong, or this is right. Is this fuck it?
By
Who
whose
cares?
standard too? Yeah.
Who cares? Because it comes to, if you're not going to honor yourself, you're not going to honor your boundaries, your contract with whatever you have going for yourself.
Yep.
You're going to be spinning always, no matter what.
I agree. 100%.
So you have to really kind of be firm. And
Mhm.
I trying to turn my own view of, just because I'm a healer doesn't mean I have to be courteous and kind and love
Right.
and light.
And it's interesting because it's like you can be a bitch, but you don't have to be a bitch. But it's
Right.
like, I like how you said it. It's like you just have to stay firm. Like resolute. It's like you don't have to be a bitch about it. You don't got to be cocking about it. You can be. You can choose to be. You can take that in a whole direct, however you want. But it's like if you're going to do you and you're going to call out these boundaries and you're going to ask people to respect them, or yourself, you're going to have to stay resolute, stay firm. I totally agree.
Right. So I think it's just coming with the fruition of allowing yourself to go, you know what, this is a fucking situation. It sucks, but guess what? This is where I stand.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go there too.
And you just
sometimes you sometimes you got to take it there. And then you still hold firm in the fact that, yeah, okay, I took it there. I took it there. Don't take it back.
Right. Then stand your ground.
Because that's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, especially coming up, like dealing with people and boys and whoever, relationships, not relationships, sexual, not, like all that stuff, is taking it back.
Yeah.
Let them think you're a bitch. Whatever. Because if they really have that negative of opinion of you, even in introspection, retrospection of everybody having had a chance to cool off, right? Then you don't need that shit. I guess plain and simple, right? And in whatever form that takes. But I think you really hit the nail on the head. Love is more than chocolates and Valentine's Day cards. Love is being firm and resolute with your choices and who you are and who you want to be and what those boundaries might be, what those preferences might be, what those actions, follow through with those actions. In the sense, it's like if you really want to do art, if you really want to do this, if you really want to pursue that, if you really love animals and want to work with them, if you really love this, if you really love pursuing law, who fucking cares, right?
Right, whatever you want.
But it's making those decisions about being true to you and staying true to them.
Right.
And even for yourself.
Taking one step at a time.
And then taking that one step at a time and not letting it overwhelm you. Yes. Hallelujah. And we'll end it on that note because that's perfect.
Yep. Ta-da! Ta-da! Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
Related.
We love you. Thank you for joining us here on Galactic Explorers. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other ideas, topics that you would like for us to cover, you can always drop them for us in the comments below. We love hearing from you guys. Thank you as always. Like, subscribe, and share. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, all of the good stuff. So follow us and see us there. We will see you next time. Bye.